Hi, this is Trevor, and welcome back once again to our weekly tarot card challenge. Today is Saturday, December the 6th, and 2014, and we've been working through the Rider-Waite Tarot deck, and, and those videos of the cards that we've covered already are here on this YouTube channel, which you can subscribe to. As well, they are on my webpage at trevorsense.com. I always include the link there. And I've gone to the lengths of putting them into an order. You'll see a link there that says Tarot Videos, and they're not in order of date, they're in order of the cards. So just the same as when you buy a book on tarot cards or when you take the cards out of the pack, they're in that order of suit. So you can look up a particular card as we get through it. And eventually we will have covered the whole deck. It's going to take about another, well, I think we're about halfway through, so it's going to take about another 35 weeks. So this has been a lot of fun, and I'm really enjoying the sharing. As well, on my website, I have to mention, that's where you'll find information about booking an appointment with me in person here in Winnipeg. And I read primarily right now through Elemental Book and Curiosity Shop. And there's also the aspect of my online readings, which I've been exploring in the last year and really enjoying. And that's available over Skype. And that's outside of my usual working hours. So that's particularly good for my friends and clients who've moved away, who may be at a distance, and the people they want to refer to me, as well as people who maybe can't access me during my regular working hours. So you can find all of that information at trevorsense.com. So I'm now shuffling the cards, and we're going to see right away what our card of the week is. The Four of Swords. And a couple of really fascinating things about this particular card. This is one of the cards that does not actually have a human figure. What we're looking at is a scene in, you get the feeling that it's in a chapel or in a holy place. There's the stained glass window, and it is a sepulcher, or there is a tomb, and the tomb is open. And this is, kind of bringing forward feelings of our mortality, of the impermanence of things. Now, traditional tarot, the Rider-Waite deck in particular, uses a lot of medieval imagery. And when we look at it in that context, the Knights Templar, or the Knights with a cause, would have stored their weapons in a holy place. So this is sort of like parking your weapons. This is both that sepulcher, but it is also in a way kind of like an armory. And one of the things, that you'll oftentimes hear me say is look at what the numbers have in common. Look at what's going on in the suit in particular. So the Three of Swords, very dramatic card that we haven't covered yet, is a card that talks about vulnerability and sensitivity, and oftentimes how we have to deal with emotional decisions. So swords have a lot to do with our mind function, what's kind of going on a level that has to do with our state of mind, and being attentive to that. There's responsibilities that we kind of learn more and more about as we move through the discovery that goes with working with tarot. So the Four of Swords is a card of rest and meditation. Another interesting thing, along with looking at the cards comparatively within the deck, is looking at other artists' interpretation, other metaphysicians or scholars' interpretation of tarot. A particular author that I have always really enjoyed is a gentleman named Robert Wang, and there's an excellent book called Kabbalistic Tarot. And even if you're not studying Kabbalah, which is a Hermetic system, it's associated with a number of other areas of study. That book in itself contains so much information, and one of the things that he does is he looks at the comparison of the Rider deck to the Marseille deck, which is one of the earliest tarot decks, and Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot, along with his own, Robert Wang's own Golden Dawn Tarot. So you kind of see, okay, what are these different artists, what are these different scholars expressing in terms of this? And I like working to a degree with the Crowley deck. It's worthy of study. If you're going to be really getting into cards, I often say, you've got to have a rider deck. And it's good to have that point of reference in terms of the Toth deck. It's not a deck that I tend to use in terms of my readings for other people. It doesn't lend itself to me in the same way. But in Crowley's deck, he gives a title to each of the cards. And in the Four of Swords, he calls the card Truce. Right? Now, in the Weight deck, I tend to call this card Rest Amidst Battle. It's not resting once everything's done, once everything's taken care of, but it's learning to have that pause. It's learning to have that sort of time out. Now, here's something that you don't always see until you've been working with the cards for a while. There's an important little detail. I'm going to zero right in here. Written in the stained glass window, in the halo over that figure's head, are 3 letters. Pax, P-A-X. It's Latin for peace or time out. Now, a curious thing, here in North America, when we're little kids and we're having scuffles on the playground, and you kind of feeling like you're getting beaten, we say uncle, 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 time out, right? But in Britain, little school children say pax, pax, time out, time out. Right? So I think of this card as, sometimes when things are overwhelming, when we feel ourselves getting kind of caught up in a situation, this is the ability to say pax, time out. It doesn't mean that we're solving everything. It doesn't mean that everything is immediately going to get along. I think some of the work that can go with what we discover in working through the Suit of Swords are the valuable tools that you'll find in an area called conflict resolution. And one of the key things in that is to not get rid of conflict. It's an important part of every relationship and situation. We're going to have differences. We're going to have those challenges. But the idea is to work with it constructively. So when we say pax, we're pausing. We're stopping in terms of the action, and we're kind of getting centered. We're maybe working with some practices that you'll find in meditation. So that can be very, very simple things. And sometimes we need to physically remove ourselves from a situation in order to work with what's going on there, rather than getting caught up in the reactions. All of the fours, when we look at them, they have a foundation feeling to them. Right? They're just like the 4 sides to a square. There is that sense of kind of looking at the basis, and that's present in the 4 of Swords. Now, in the stained glass window, there's this figure wearing a funny cloak. Could that be Joseph in his amazing Technicolor raincoat? And from what I recall of that story, there's some forgiveness that's involved in it. And we see the figure that's kneeling before that figure, and they're kind of supplicating. They're asking for some mercy. And that's where sometimes we have to grant that to ourselves. Rather than getting caught up in right, wrong, good, bad, we have to kind of say, wait a minute, I'm still in the process. I'm still in the game. So maybe if I can pause in terms of that, there can be some insight. So there's some grace that's involved there. So what a perfect card to have during this time of year. I'm finding that, this is always a time of year where my own schedule can be very busy one moment and kind of quiet the next. So amidst all the hustle and bustle, it's really good to have those moments of pause, to have that sense of finding some center, and then being able to work with things from there. And granting others a bit of that mercy, a bit of that grace, cutting each other a little slack. That can be really important. So it's been a pleasure sharing once again with you, and I look forward to next week and seeing what our card of the week is. By all means, if you're interested in a reading, check out my website at trevorsense.com. That's also where there's links to a Facebook page and some other fun things. Take care, and bye for now.